Wait till you see how I combine these two fabrics to create this trendy short bubu. It's so simple and beginners can make it easily. So I'm going to teach you step by step on how to achieve it. So let's get started. To make this outfit, we have a leftover sequence fabric and 2.5 yards of handkerchief fabric. So let's fold our fabric now. So I measured my fabric 25 inches wide, folded into two, and after that I folded again just the way you are seeing it, which is total of into 4. So after folding into 4, the next thing is to get the length of the gown. So we have 30 inches length. So after measuring the 30 inches, it is enough. So next we are going to take the neck width of 4 and the back neck depth of 2 inches. Connect that 2 inches to the neck width of 4. Then take the neck depth for the front 6 inches and then connect it to that neck width of 4 as well. After connecting it, we are going to take the shoulder slant, okay? So the shoulder slant we are working with is just 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch, connect it to the neck width. If you have a long straight ruler, please make use of it. I'm going to take the sleeve circumference of 15 inches and we also marked 12 inches, okay? So now the reason why I marked 15 inches and 12 inches is because of the curve of the sleeve. So the bust circumference, we are going to impute it on the line of 12 inches, okay? So on that line of 12 inches, we are going to divide our bust circumference by 4, which is 40 divided by 4 is giving us 10 inches. And then I added 1 inch seam allowance, okay? So 10 plus 1 is giving us 11 inches. So that 11 inches, we are supposed to impute it at the downside. But because we want the downside to be an A line, I added extra 3 inches to the 11 inches, which gave me total of 14 inches. So we are going to connect it from the bust to the down part of that A line. After connecting it now, remember the sleeve line, we took 15 inches as well. So what I'm going to do is to extend my hand, okay? So make a curve from that upper part, the bust area, to that 15 inches at the sleeve circumference. Then make a curve. Just see the way I am drawing it. So it means that the sleeve itself is not straight, it is having an A line as well. So next we are going to check the circumference of what we have. It is giving us total of 16 inches. So we are done. It is time for us to cut. I'm sorry that the chalk is not really showing very well, okay? So let us cut what we have. So follow the shape of what you've marked as well and then cut everything out. So I'm cutting from the down part. So after cutting, we are going to separate the front from the back. So I had to remove the down one and then use the chalked part for the front panel. So arrange it very well and then drop the neckline for the front. Remember we came down by 6 inches. So I'm going to cut out what we've marked out, okay? So after cutting it, the next thing we are going to do is to create the design that we have. So the length of the sequence fabric we are working with is 16 inches, which is the half length of the person, plus half an inch we are using to join the shoulder. We marked 16.5, and then the width we are working with is the bust span distance or the nipple to nipple measurement of 7 inches. Unfold is 3.5. Okay, now the neck width we worked with is 4 inches, so I placed my tape from 4. Okay, and then I'm going to take the full back measurement of 14. So 14 divided by 2 is 7 plus 1.5 is giving us 8.5. Okay, So I marked 8.5. I'm going to connect it to the bust span measurement, okay, at that line of 16.5. So after marking with my ruler, we are not going to cut it out. We are going to use it to cut the fabric we have. So next we are going to fold our sequence fabric, the leftover fabric, into two using the shoulder width of 8.5. So after folding into two, I had to place the front panel on top of it, and then I'm going to mark that line of 16.5, which is the true waist length, okay, and then I marked the shoulder as well, the part that we chalked at the upper part. Then I used my pin to secure it to enable me cut the neck width for the front, okay. So after cutting the neck width, I'm going to cut the shoulder slant exactly the way the material is, the gown is on the fabric. So after cutting to that point of the chalked part, I'm going to take off my pin, then connect what you have marked earlier to the true waist length, okay. So from that point, connect it to the true waist length. Mark the nipple to nipple measurement of 3.5 plus half an inch for the folding of the sequence, which gave us 4 inches. Connect it to the shoulder, okay, just the way you see me doing. After connecting it, cut it out, okay. So after cutting it out, we are done with the front design. So the next thing we are going to do is to place this design on the front panel for us to see how it is going to look like, okay. So before we are going to place this to sew on the fabric, we are going to put hairstay on it. So this is how it is looking. It is looking very neat, okay. So now we are going to take the measurement for the down part so that we'll be able to know how many inches of fabric we are going to cut to draw our gathers. So after taking the measurement for the front and the back, we got 56 in total. So 56 times 2 is giving us 112, okay. So we had to fold our fabric. This fabric we are using is 60 inches in length, so we folded it into 4 and marked 12 inches. So we are going to cut the 12 inches and then cut another 12 inches, okay. So in total, what we are going to get is 60 plus 60, which is giving us 120, which is more than enough because we actually needed 112, okay. So we are using 60 plus 60, which is 120. So we are going to join the two fabrics and then we are going to draw gathers. So we are done cutting. We are going to take it to our sewing machine to join the two together, and then we are going to run bias on it, then before we are going to draw our gathers. So we are done. This other one now we are cutting, we are using it for the inner belt, okay. So you can use any length of your choice and any width of your choice. So next we are going to cut the interfacing for the back panel, okay. So fold your fabric into two. The leftover fabric we have, I folded into two, and then I placed the back panel on it. I'm going to cut the exact neck width, okay. So after cutting the neck width, take the distance you want for the interfacing, okay. So remove the fabric and then take the length you desire. So I'm using 7 inches, so I'm going to mark 7 inches all round, and then I'm going to use my scissors to cut it, okay. So after cutting it, we are done cutting all the panels. So the next thing for us to do is to open the back panel, place the interfacing on it, then we are going to sew the neckline. Then after sewing, we are going to notch it, fold the edges by half an inch, and then flip it over to the front side, iron it very well, and then sew it. So we are done with all the panels. This is the front panel. So to work on it, we are going to put stay on it, okay. So let's head over to the sewing machine. Let me show you what to do. So this is it. We've put stay on the sequence, folded half inch all round with the pin secured on the neckline. So place it on your sewing machine, sew the neckline exactly the way it is, notch it, top stitch, then flip it to the front side and sew. So watch it and enjoy the process. It is time for us to sew the interfacing to the back panel. Place it on the neckline, okay? And then use your sewing machine to sew it all the way around. After sewing it, notch it, top stitches, flip it over to the back side, and then iron it, then sew it. Enjoy the process. So we are done with the back. The next part we are sewing is the inner belt. So fold it into two and then sew the edges round and turn it, iron it and place it aside. So the next part we are sewing is the one for the gathers. So we are going to place our red bias on it and then sew it all the way down first of all. After sewing it all the way down, then the next thing we are going to do is to flip it over to the front side and then sew it. So after sewing it on top, the next thing we will do is for us to draw gathers on it. So for the gathers, we are going to make two lines on it and then draw the gathers. Then use the circumference of the gown, the down part of the gown that we've coupled, and then use it to draw the gathers. So enjoy the process as you watch. So after drawing the gather, see how beautiful it is looking. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to put the inner belt. So from the center of the front panel, mark 6 inches on both sides from the true waist, and then on that part that you marked, pin your belt and then sew it. Okay, so use half an inch to sew it. Make sure you sew it very well so that when they tie it, it will not fall off. Okay, so after sewing it, I'm going to tell you what next to do. So after sewing the inner belt, the next thing we are going to do is to join the shoulder for the front and the back panel. We are doing that off camera because we don't want the video to be too long. Okay, so after joining that, the next thing we will do is to take the circumference of the sleeve and then cut our sequence. So that is what I did. So we are fixing the sequence on the sleeve. Okay, so place it on the wrong side and then sew it, flip it over to the front side just the way you see me doing, and then sew it on that top of it. Okay, so after sewing it, do the same for the other parts. After doing the same for the other sleeve, it is time for us to couple the gown. So for us to couple the gown as we normally do, we are going to sew from the front side as you can see first of all. So we are going to sew it all the way down with 1/4 inch. Okay, so after sewing it all the way down, we'll do the same for the other part and then turn it over to the front side and then sew from the front. So next we are going to fix the gathers at the down part with 1/2 inch. Okay, so remember the circumference of the down part is what we use to draw the gathers, so pin it very well and then use your sewing machine to sew it. After sewing it, fold the downside of the edges of the gathers. Okay, we are done. You'll see the final result, so enjoy the process. So this is it, guys. We are done with the gown entirely. We've done everything. We folded it down, so our model will display this dress for us to see. So the outcome of this style is so beautiful on my client. So thank you so much for watching. This is Lois Ada. If you enjoyed this trendy Bubu tutorial, click on the next video on your screen to keep learning more simple styles. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.